Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Krishna Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna.
Go Yahara prasadhe ba e bhavatoriya Yahara prasadhe ba e bhavatoriya Krishna prapti haya hoite Krishna prapti haya hoite Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Koriya Kya Guru Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Koriya Kya Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Koriya Adana Koriya Mane Osa Adana Koriya Mane Asa Sri Guru Charane Rate Esayu Tamagate Sri Guru Charane Rate Sri Guru Charane Rate Esayu Tamagati Sri Guru Charane Rate Esayu Tamagati Ye prasare pure sarva asa Prasade pure sarva asa Chakudandilaya Janme Janme Prabhu se Chakudandilaya Janme Janme Prabhu se Divya Gyani de Prakasita Divya Gyani de Prakasita Prema Bhakti Yaite Avidya Vinasa Yaite Prema Bhakti Yaite Avidya Vinasa Yaite Virigayara Charita Virigayara Charita Sri Guru Karuna Sindhu Aramajanara Bandha Sri Guru Karuna Sindhu Aramajanara Bandha Lokanata Lokara Jivana Lokanata Lokara Jivana Aha Prabhu Karo Doya De Hamare Parachaya Aha Prabhu Karo Doya Dehamore Padachaya Eveyasku Sukti Bhuvana Tila Prabhupada Patita Pavana Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Namarum Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namarum Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Naminiti Namaste Sarasate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavari Patyachadesa Tarine Sarasate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Sunyavari Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Sivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Jaya Radha, Govardhana Radha, Govardhana Shri Radha. Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Vishnupad Paramangsa Padiviraj Kacharya Satarasara Sisamari Devangai A.C. Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nati Gauri Vaishnavinda Ki Jai Namachari Sal Haridasta Gaur Ki Jai Pransikho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhupada Sirvedi Radha Swasti Gaur Bhaktivinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gaur Gopinath Shyamkund Radha Kund Giri Govardhana Ki Jai Vrindavan Dhama Ki Jai Mayapur Dhama Ki Jai Oh glorious to some of the birdies, oh glorious to some of the birdies, oh glorious to some of the birdies, glorious to Sri Guru Garanga. Namam Nisharam Satchit Nanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam Namam Nisharam Satchit Namam Nisharam Satchidanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Goku Lebrajamanam Namam Nisharam Satchidanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Goku Lebrajamanam Jasoda Biolokaladavamanam Paramrishtamantanta Todrucha Gopya Biolokaladavamanam Paramrishtamantanta Todrucha Gopya Yasoda Biolokaladavamanam Paramrichamantanta Todrucha Gopya Yasoda Rudantamuhunetta Yugmam Rijantam Karamboja Yugmena Satankanetram Yugmam Yugmena Satankanetram Muhuspasakam Patrire Kankakanta Stita Graivam Damodaram Bhaktivaram Svasakam Patire Kankakanta Stita Graivam Damodaram Bhaktivaram Iti Driksvalila Birananda Kunde Svagoshami Majantam Akyapayantam Lila Birananda Kunde Svagoshami madyantam akyapayantam Tadiyeshitageshu bhaktejitatvam Puna prematastam sata vrittivande Na prematastam satam vrittivande Varam deva moksham na mokshavadim va Nachanyam vineham vadesharapiha Idam te vapunata gopala balam Saramimanasya virashtam kimanya Malabalam Saramimanasya virashtam kimanya Idam temu kambojam Anyanchanilai Vritam kundai laishnigda Raktascha gopya Muhuschumbitam bimba raktadaramme Manasya virasnama lam lakshalabai Namo Deva Damodarananta Vishnu Prashida Prabodhuka Jalabdi Magna Kripa Drishti Vrishati Dinambatano Grihane Shamamagyam Edyam Digdeshya Dinambatano Grihane Shamamagyam Edyakshidesha Kurverat Madhyobada Murjai Vajadvat Vaya Mochito Bhakti Bhajo Kritocha Tata Prema Bhaktim Svakame Prayachcha Namokshe Graho Mesti Damodareha Namokshe Graho Mesti Damodareha Namaste Studamne Spura Dipti Damne Hariyodarayata Vishvasya Damne Namo Darikaya Tvadiya Priyaya Namo Nanchalilaya Devaya Tobhyam Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaya Namo Nanchalilaya Devaya Tobhyam Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaya Namo Nanchalilaya Devaya Tobhyam Namo Radhikaya Namo Nanchalilaya Devaya Tubhyam. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jasodanandana Brajan Jana Ranjana Jasodanandana Brajan Jana Ranjana Jamuna We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, Status Quo, Chapter 11, Calculation of Time from the Atom. Text number 23. Nishavashanarabdo Nishavashana arabdo Loka kalpo anuvartate loka kalpa anuvartate javat dinam bhagavato manun bunjams chaturdasha nisavashana arabdho loka kalpanuvartate javat dinam nisavashana arabdho nisavashana arabdho loka nisavashana arabdho Nisha night avasane termination arabdaha beginning from loka kalpa further creation of the three worlds anuvartate follows javat until dinam the daytime bhagavataha of the Lord Brahma manun the manus bunjan existing through chatuhu dasha 14 translation please repeat. After the end of Brahma's night, the creation of the three worlds begins again in the daytime of Brahma. And they continue to exist through the life durations of 14 consecutive manus, or fathers of mankind. After the end of Brahma's night, I'm just reading on my own, sorry. After the end of Brahma's night, the creation of the three worlds begins again in the daytime of Brahma. And they continue to exist through the life durations of 14 consecutive manus, or fathers of mankind. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, one line purport. At the end of the life of each manu, there are shorter dissolutions also. So I think I'm going to read a few more verses because it's too short. Text 24. Swam sam kalum manurvungtve sadikam hi eka shaptatin. Each and every manu enjoys a life of a little more than 71 sets. So 71 sets of 4 millenniums. Purport. The duration of life of a Manu comprises 71 sets of 4 millenniums as described in the Vishnu Purana. The duration of life of one Manu is about 852,000 years in the calculation of the demigods. or in the calculation of human beings, 306,720,000 years. Text 25. Mambantare shumanavas tadvamsya rishaya suraha bhavanti chai vajugapat sureshas chanud yechitan. After the dissolution of each and every Manu, the next Manu comes in order along with his descendants who rule over the different planets. But the 7 famous sages and demigods like Indra and their followers, such as the Gandharvas, all appear simultaneously with Manu. Purport. There are 14 Manus in one day of Brahma, and each of them has different descendants. Almost one line, purports everywhere. Let's read the next one. Esadhainam dinashargo brahmastrai lokyavartanaha trirandri pritidevanam sambhavo jatra karmavihi. In the creation during Brahma's day, the 3 planetary systems, Swarga, Marti and Patala, revolve, and the inhabitants, including the lower animals, human beings, demigods and pitas, appear and disappear in terms of their fruitive activities. Text 27. Mambantareshu Bhagavan Bhivrat Sattam Samurtivihi Manuadivir Idam Vishwam Avati Udita Paurushaha. In each and every change of Manu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears by manifesting his internal potency in different incarnations as Manu and others. Thus, he maintains the universe by discovered power. Quite interesting. Okay, so the last one, text 28. Tamo matram upadaya pratishamrin manudabi kramaha kalena nugateshas kalena nugatashesha astetushnim dinatyaye. At the end of the day, under the insignificant portion of the mode of darkness, the powerful manifestation of the universe merges in the darkness of night. By the influence of eternal time, the innumerable living entities remain merged in that dissolution, and everything is silent. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. This verse is an explanation of the night of Brahma, which is the effect of the influence of time in touch with an insignificant portion of the modes of material nature in darkness. The dissolution of the 3 worlds is affected by the incarnation of darkness, Rudra, represented by the fire of eternal time, which blazes over the 3 worlds. These 3 worlds are known as Bhu, Bhuva, and Swaha. Brackets, Patala, Martya, and Swarga. Patala, Martya, and Swarga. The innumerable living entities merge into that dissolution, which appears to be the dropping of the curtain of the scene of the Supreme Lord's energy. And so, everything becomes silent. So next verse is 29. Okay? Yeah. Okay, so Oma Gyanat Mirandasya Gyanandhyana Sarakaya Chakshuru Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesha Sunyavari Paschatyadeshatarine Panchakalpa Taruvyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyaevacha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha. So we are reading 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. 3rd and 4th canto are, as we mentioned before, perhaps the longest, so we say lecture or section, where one of the gurus that appeared in the Bhagavatam is describing in one go to one of his disciples or students. In this case, who's the disciple of... Who's speaking here, first of all? Let's see if we're following. I know you're following. Just teasing you. So who's speaking here? No? You should know. You're here every day. Maitreya, of course. Thank you. So Maitreya is instructing his disciple, who has accepted voluntarily the position of disciple. Although Prabhupada says in some of the earlier purports that actually Vidura is even more elevated than Maitreya, because he was so intimately... You know who was thinking, when Krishna left this world, you know who he was thinking about? You can guess, but you know who he was thinking about? Have a guess. Huh? Oh, you know. He was thinking of Vidura. Imagine. So dear to him. So Vidura is very exalted devotee. So here we have Maitreya instructing Vidura for 2 cantos. 3rd canto and 4th canto. Okay? Long description, long lecture, long class. And there are, I think, 40 plus questions that Vidura presents to Maitreya. Okay? But if we want to summarize the questions that Vidura is asking to Maitreya, is who is Krishna? And how can we know him? How can we remember him? That's the basic thing. The 3 questions of the Bhagavad Gita: who are we? Where do we come from? And where are we going? Those are 3 sections, 18 chapters divided into 3, 6 chapters each. Who are we? Where do we come from? And where are we going? What is our destination? So in regards of where do we come from, the Bhagavatam addresses 3 main principles, especially presented in the first 3 cantos. This is easy to remember. And of course, sometimes I like to have this child kind of child play in remembering things, but it works. The Bhagavatam presents, Prabhupada explains this, I'm not making things up. Prabhupada explains in the first canto that the first canto presents the principles of creation. Okay? The principles of creation, 3 P's. Sometimes 3 B's or 3 P's, so it's easy to remember. The principle of creation. Okay? What is the principle of creation? We find that in the first line of the Bhagavatam. What is the first line of the Bhagavatam? Janmadi asya jataha. Yeah, the first verse. Om Namo, when we say every morning, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, right? That's the invocation, right? And then the first line is Janmadi asya jataha, which is actually a verse from the Vedanta Sutra, the Brahma Sutras. And that verse says, that which, that person, that object, shall we say, from whom everything comes, and everything comes. Janmadi, Janma, like you say, Janmastami, Janma means birth. So that from whom everyone takes birth, everything is manifested from. So the first canto, this is easy to remember, hopefully you can remember. The first canto presents the first P, which is the principles of creation. And the second canto, in the second canto, which is called Cosmic Manifestation, the second canto presents the process of creation. Yeah? P, principle, which is right there in the first verse of the Bhagavatam. The second canto presents the process of creation, how things are manifested. Yeah? And then we have a description of Lord Brahma. Brahma is the secondary creator, the engineer of the universe, we say. So the process of creation is presented in second canto, and then third canto. Who remembers what's the title of this canto? Yay, status quo. Status quo, Latin word, which means how things are set, status, state. So the third canto presents the products of creation. Principle, process, and the products. So after the machine is turned on, and then the items are, or the ingredients are placed in, that's described in second canto, then how things are manifested. Right? What is the product? What is the outcome? What's the status? Brahma, it's looking for its source, and then Lord Vishnu manifests the ingredients and gives intelligence to Lord Brahma to create. He gives that instruction. What's the word that Lord Brahma heard when he was looking for his source? Tapa. Tapa means austerity. In the process, that means the process. We need to focus, we need to concentrate, we need to regulate ourselves, and then we become very powerful. If you want to succeed in your studies, what do you have to do? You have to focus. You want to succeed in business, you have to work hard. Everything. So the first instruction that Lord Brahma receives is focus, tapa, regulate, self-regulation, control yourself. Just like the first analogy in the Bhagavad Gita that Krishna gives to Arjuna when he's describing the glories of a spiritual life. Perhaps one of the most famous analogies that he gives to Arjuna is, be like a turtle. Right? Remember? You just put the limbs inside. This material world is like that. It's, you see the shell of the turtle, it's very, very hard. Right? But the limbs are very soft. Right? So they are very vulnerable when the limbs are out. Other animals, other predators, sharks and other can come and attack. So when the turtle is in danger, it just goes within like that. So that's the first analogy that Krishna gives to Arjuna. So the three principles, who remember? First canto, the three P's of creation. Principle, right? Process, second canto, and third canto, the products. Who is created? And all this, of course, has many intricacies. How the world is created. The first canto is called creation. The second canto is called cosmic manifestation. And the third canto, it's called status quo. How things are manifested. What's the state of things? You know, when my wife cooks, and she cooks the bread, right? And then she's always looking, right? She's observing how the bread is turning, right? And then she knows when the bread is ready. And then opens and sometimes touches or put a little stick or something, right? When you cake also. And then you see, oh, how is it? So what's the status? What's the status quo? How did it turn out? Oh, it's good, it's too hard. Oh no, we have to leave it a few more minutes like that. So here, Lord Brahma, by the ingredients given by the Lord, has created, it's creating the whole material world, material creation. Right? So, now we are going into, this is like the macro view of the whole process. First canto, second canto, third canto. And now we are getting into the details. What is according to the Vedas, according to the Bhagavatam, the smallest particle in creation. What's the smallest thing? Oh, yeah, you won. Yeah, materially, the atoms. Thank you. So, calculation of time from the atom, right? And the atom moves and goes, right? And depending on how soft or how strong something is because of the movement of the atom. You know those? No? Right? You're studying, yeah? Gurukul student. Yeah. So the faster the atoms move in something, in an object, that means the atoms are moving. It's harder. Correct? And the softer they move, the slower they move, the softer the matter. Right? Like that. So the energy of time, one of the 5 items of the Bhagavad Gita is presented here. And in Sanskrit it's called kala. Kala. And it is explained in previous verses, some of the smallest, forgot the name, Shana, and certain definitions of time. There's a chart somewhere. Oh, here it is. Truti, Veda, Lava, Nimesha, Shana. Some of these words are used in our verses, on our main verses. For example, Nimesha. Nimesha means how long it takes for you to blink. We all are blinking. You're not even thinking how many times. How many times have you blinked so far since you woke up? It's something that you do automatically. So Nimesha, that time, it's that it takes you to blink. It's defined as the 1/15th part of a second. Nimesha is just instant, like that. Lava. Lava matra sadhusanga. Sadhusanga, lava matra. Lava matra sadhusanga. One of the verses says that even a moment of association, even an instant of association with a devotee, a pure devotee, can give you all perfection. All the Shastra says, the verse states, just lava, Nimesha. Why Nimesha is important? Where the Bhagavatam starts, there's a forest called the forest of, it's famous, Naimisharanya. Right? Naimisharanya. And Naimisharanya refers to that Nimesha. It refers to the Lord. Because the Lord doesn't blink. I mean, he blinks if he wants. It's not that he cannot blink. Right? Like in the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that the spiritual world, there is no sun and moon. Okay? It's not illumined by the sun or the moon like here. But that doesn't mean the sun and the moon are not there. They are there because they're just for decoration only. But it's self-luminous, like that. So it's not that the Lord doesn't blink, but he doesn't have to blink. But if you try, if you don't blink, then your eyes will get red and you'll get teary. It hurts. So, Nimisha, Naimishe, Nimisha Shetre, like that. Shana. Shana is also 8/5 of a second. Right? And where do we find this word? First canto, second, first chapter, second verse. Takshano. Like right there. There's a famous video that makes the rounds in social media where a devotee asks Srila Prabhupada, how long does it take to become Krishna conscious? Have you seen that one? Huh? How long does it take to be Krishna conscious? What is Prabhupada's answer? 1 minute. He gets upset. Are you not reading Bhagavad Gita? He says, why are you asking these things? You should know. 1 minute. How many minutes we already have been trying? Maybe not hard enough, seriously enough. So time is very important, and therefore even the smallest unit, Truti Veda, Lava, Nimesha, Shana, Kasta, Lagu, Danda, Prahara, etc., etc. In the morning, what's the most auspicious time of the day? Brahma Muhurta. Muhurta, it's a unit. And there's mathematical calculations like that. How do you create different units based on the previous one? So here, as we see, it's defining the smallest unit of time. But also it's analyzing the greatest cycles of time. And that's when Manu, or the reference to Manu, comes in. Right? Because in the life of different Manus that appear in the day of Brahma, all the manifestations start again. It's a cycle. Right? If I ask you, what's going to be your day like? And then you will say, okay, I have to go to school, and then I have to do some service, and then you're going to take prasadam, and you have, offer the candle at night, or do some reading, etc., etc. We have so many things to do during the day, correct? Everybody. And then what happens at night? You're tired, you go to bed, right? You forget, you may dream, whatever. And then what happens the next day? Repeat. Again and again and again, like every day. It's pretty much the same. So in the same way, the Bhagavatam is giving this cyclical sequence of creation and destruction. There are 5, we were discussing last week, there are 5 topics in the Bhagavad Gita. Who remembers those? At least one. Jiva, Ishvara, use it? Time, Kala, Prakriti, nature, and karma, action. So those are the 5 topics, right? In the Bhagavatam, as I was describing last week, we have 10 topics. And I said that I don't want to go through all the 10 because most probably most of us are going to forget. So we just asked to remember 3. One is Sarga, creation, and Visarga, secondary creation, and Stanam. Stanam, again, the same word. Status, Stanam. Every language practically comes from, originally, or the main words come from Sanskrit. Stanam, like that. But there is one item that it's described in the Bhagavatam. It's Nirodha. And Nirodha means destruction. So things are created, and then with the passing of time, things dwindle. They are maintained for some time, they reproduce, and then eventually they are destroyed. Everything in this material world is destroyed. 100%. Yes or no? You may not agree, that's okay. I'm giving classes in the school, Shastra classes. And it's so nice to see the children. I said, you have to challenge, you don't have to accept. So what if this, that, and then they give their arguments, What if I buy a really expensive car that lasts for hundreds of years, which doesn't exist? Or a watch, I know that this watch, but nothing really remains. Can you think of something that remains forever? Or for a long time? What's that? Oh, but that's not material. I said material. You broke the rules. What's that? A tree. All right. Not destroyed. A plastic tree, maybe? Subtle things. Subtle things are there, but they do change. So they don't remain like, the mind or... What do you mean, like subtle? The mind, like that, yeah. Atoms get destroyed, yeah. Everything gets destroyed. Lasts for some time, but then it destroys or changes, it's transformed like that. Mountains, that's a good one. I heard that this area used to be a volcano. That's what they say, right? It's a caldera. Caldera is actually a Spanish word. Caldera means a big pot, hot pot. And it's supposed to, I don't know, that's what they say here. I don't know if it's true. I don't know how bona fide. But this used to be, if you see around, it's like all the pigs make like the edge of like one of those pots at the back. You know, where Nandanandan is cooking. Padmalochana, they're doing their burfi. Like that. That's a caldera. It's a very, very hot pot. Like that. So, yeah, the mountains may last. When we say eternal, that means that it's for a long time. Right? And then every time we buy something, we move and we had to buy some appliance. What was one of the things, apart from the price, that we will ask the salesperson? What will we ask? The warranty. How much warranty? 1 year. Okay, I give you 2 years. All right. If you pay some extra, they'll give you 3 to 5 years. But not more than that. After that, you're on your own. Good luck. And there is something I was reading. It came through an article. It's called planned obsolescence. You know that? You know what that means? That things are built, right? Like your phones, our phones, computers, cars, etc. They are built to last only for some time. Correct? So then what happens when they break? You have to buy a new one. Right? I was doing something about ecology and like that. So I came across that. Quite interesting. So things are designed so they will break. So in that same way, we can say material creation takes place. And we're given a body that will destroy at some point. And then what happens when this old one is destroyed? Then what happens? You get a new one. Happy birthday. Right? Happy birthday. So as we can see, time from the macro perspective, from the angle of creation and the Manus and Lord Brahma and all, we can even conceive what's going on here. Imagine Lord Brahma goes tonight and there is dissolutions. At the end of the life of each Manu, there are shorter dissolutions. Not total dissolutions, but shorter. So it means that everything is destroyed. Everything. Mountains, everything. And as it is said in the further purport, then everything goes into Lord Vishnu again at different times. Just like a magician, right? Actually, Krishna is described, Srila Prabhupada sometimes would say that he's the greatest magician. And what does a magician do? Yeah, it does magic, yeah. But what does magic mean? It deceives. Okay. Tricks. Appears and disappears. Nothing here, then a rabbit comes, or the bird comes, or something comes from the ears, from the mouth, from, you know how they do. So like a magician, it's a trick. We were not here 100 years ago, right? And for sure 100 years from now, we won't be here. At least not in the same bodily design, for sure. But now that we are here, we're thinking, I'm going to be here forever. Somehow we're thinking, I'm going to be here forever. Right? I remember the first time I got a Prabhupada book, I was 14 years old. And anyway, this whole story, the devotee convinced me, tricked me into buying the whole collection of 3 books. And it's one of the early books that the BBT put, but was translated into Spanish. And anyway, so I took it. I was 14 years old, long haired, and I was wanting to be cool and having my dreams. And I came home. And the first thing that I read, I opened the book. I just read maybe half a page. That's it. Prabhupada says, the greatest illusion in this material world is that we think we don't going to die. And it shook me that I never ever thought of something like that in my life. Never. Never. Imagine. And we're thinking that we're going to be here forever. And Prabhupada gives 2 examples. I still remember. When you're sitting on a chair, right? Now we're sitting here. But after 15 minutes, I'm going to get kicked out from here. Okay, Prabhu, enough. Enough. All right? That's it. Out. I cannot sit here. Like, no, it's nice. It's comfortable. No, Prabhu. That's it. So you sit on a chair for some time, and then for whatever reasons you have to move and sit somewhere else. Correct? Or we get a rental, and then we have a lease for 1 year, 2 years. You stay there for a number of years, and then one day the owner says, okay, out. I'm going to sell my house. That's very common, right? And then they're giving you sometimes a month or whatever it is, and then you have to get out. And then you have to find another rental. Is that correct? Right. So Prabhupada gives those 2 examples. And I remember, I read them. That was a long, long time ago. And that's it. And I closed the book and I put it aside and never thought anything about it. Right? But then after years, devotees start preaching to me and different things. And at one point I thought, that was the first time that I ever heard or reflected on something like that. I am going to die. Huh? I never thought like that. I was thinking, I'm going to be happy when I have the skateboard of my dreams, and the motorbike of my dreams, and the surfboard of my dream, and the girl of my dream, and the dog of my dream. And honestly, I'm not making it up. I was just thinking, okay, I want this type, like this, like that, here, there, like that. I had a whole plan. And Prabhupada just burst the bubble. You know, the balloon? Says, you fool, you're going to die. What are you doing? Right? So, time determines everything in this material world. And there's one characteristic of the spiritual world. Srila Prabhupada says this. In the spiritual world, time is conspicuous by its absence. I never knew what conspicuous was. That it's manifest because it's not there. There's no time. Eternity. Right? You just think about eternity. What do you think about eternity? Oh, long, long, long time. You have to remove the word time. Eternity. Sat. That's the first characteristic of the soul. We don't die. We're eternal. Just thinking about that is mind-blowing. So the Bhagavatam brings all these descriptions for what? What is the purpose of the Bhagavatam, Maitreya in this case, instructing Arjuna about so many little and great details? Why is Maitreya telling this to Arjuna? And then we are benefited from that. Why? Why do you think? For? To help? Convince us of? Krishna is the supreme, yeah? Anything else? You know, sometimes when you are doing uni or at school, and then you have to write a number of words, right? And then they say, you know, you have to do, I don't know what, 300-400 words. How many words you had to write for your exam? 600 words. And then you didn't do all the 600, you did like 400, you were telling me, right? So you had to fill in, you know, the pages, you know. So the Bhagavatam or the Bhagavad Gita is not like, okay, we have to put in 18,000 verses. Okay, put in there. Oh, I don't know what to put now. Okay, let me put some more. No, there is a purpose. There is a purpose. Huh? What is the purpose? Yeah? Mm. Yeah. 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 And that's exactly right. That how can we conceive of eternity without understanding time? As I said, foolish me, I wasn't even thinking that my time is going to be up at some point, decades when I was a youngster. So it brings all these contrasting principles for us to understand that time is very valuable, and that beyond that, Krishna is above time. Right? Krishna is the one who's controlling time. So Bhagavatam presents first canto, P, for principle. Second canto, the second P stands for process. And the third P stands for products. What is that Brahma creates? And what are the ingredients? Like a good cook knows what to put where, at what time, etc. So time is crucial for us to understand. As Prabhupada said, that there is no time on one hand. But then when he was asked, how long does it take to become Krishna conscious? 1 minute. 1 minute. Right? But in order for us to be Krishna conscious in 1 minute, we have to understand what actually time means. Right? In many ways we may say time is an illusion. We're thinking now. But now, as soon as I said now it's not now anymore. Correct? You say, okay, stop now. It's gone, past. And then we say, then, future. It's gone already, like that. So time is a very deceptive. Do you use the word deceptive? Yeah? Deceptive. A magician, look here. You're going to be happy in time. Illusion. Like that. So this section of the Bhagavatam is explaining the process, the products, the ingredients of creation. Why? Because Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita tells us again and again, what are the main instructions of Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita? Whatever you think, you have heard it many, many times. What does Krishna tell Arjuna? Not exactly in this verse or the other, but in essence, what does he tell Arjuna? Do your duty, right? Perform your duty. Great. He tells him work, right? What else? Okay. Work in a certain way. Work in a detached way. In fact, he says, work for me. Okay, so work is one. What else does he tell? Surrendered unto me. Okay, right, that's the everything. What else does he tell him? Give up all attachments, yeah, correct. What else? He tells Krishna to think, he tells Arjuna to think of him. Manmana bhavamat bhakto. He says to Arjuna, think of me. He says to Arjuna in chapter 6, see me everywhere. Jaman pashyati sarvatra. Right? See me everywhere, think of me, remember me. Not only do your duty, but do it thinking of me. He says in chapter 8 is called Attaining the Supreme. Who here is interested in going back to Godhead? I asked this to the students at the school. And 2 hands. All right. So Krishna explains the technique of the science of reincarnation. If we want to go back to Godhead, we need to read chapter 8. And what do we need to do at the time of death? We need to think of Krishna. And these teachings of the Bhagavatam is for us to understand that every single instant, shall we call it, not second, instant means part and the part and the part of a second. And every macro unit, cycles and cycles and cycles and cycles of creations of Manus and Brahmas again and again, are all controlled just like a puppeteer by Krishna. And if we are able to think at the last moment of our lives of Him or something related to Him, then we can go back to Him. That's the idea of the Bhagavatam. Who's the principal? Krishna. Who's behind the process of creation? Krishna. And who ultimately, directly or indirectly, controls all the products, including us, and everything that is around us? It's Krishna. And therefore, he concludes his 7th chapter, Knowledge of the Absolute, saying, I am the governing principle of creation, I am the governing principle of maintenance, and I am the governing principle of sacrifice, which means serving Krishna. Okay? We're going to stop here. Any question in regards of this? No questions? Prabhu? Oh, cool.
Thanks for the class, Iksvaku. When you were saying about the now thing, and then you, like, the moment's already gone as soon as you kind of already noticed it, then I just kind of thought, how does the soul kind of slot into there? Because we're using this body as a vessel, right? And the soul is kind of eternal. But then, if the soul's what's animating the body, and then as soon as the body's saying now, through the soul, it's already gone, but the soul's eternal. So how does that work?
Right. The way, how does that work, or how do we understand it, or how do we understand it? By being Krishna conscious. Once you are Krishna conscious, time disappears. And I mean, I had a little bit of experience, and I'm sure you have had experiences where you are doing something spiritual, or rather, not even a spiritual, something that you love doing. Think about something that you love doing, right? And you're doing it, and there's so much pleasure, so much enjoyment that time goes by. You could be going to the beach, playing guitar, reading something, watching something, being with friends, and just time flies, they say, right? Because you don't feel it, right? Why? Because the soul experiences a certain pleasure that it's not limited. The soul, it's not meant to be limited by time. We're not meant to die. We're not meant to get old. We're not meant to end things that we don't want ending. So sometimes when we do something which is spiritual in nature, like chanting, like in Kirtan Mela, you can go on for on and on, or sometimes classes, parikrams, taking prasadam, With my wife, we said we have to be careful because we can be taking prasad for 2-3 hours, right? You take, and then you chat with someone. Have you realized that? How can you eat for 3 hours? It takes 20 minutes, max. But because it's so enjoyable, and then somebody comes and says, Prabhu, you want this? And you're like, okay, and then chat. Like that. So yes, the soul can experience eternity when it's connected with its Krishna conscious nature. That's it. Then it's not going to make sense because we're eternal, and this is not eternal. So everything is limited by time. Oh, I have to run. Prasadam, time. Okay, etc. So everything is time. In the material world, Prabhupada gave an example when they were asking these questions to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada said, you can eat a gulab jam forever. What is when we're asking that sort of questions? But Prabhupada, how we can be? He says, in the spiritual world, you can eat a gulab jam forever. Forever. Imagine that. Because in those days when the young boys and girls were coming to hear from Prabhupada, people were taking acid, and there was the psychedelic revolution. So everyone was just tripping about these things. So those statements from Prabhupada, it was like, oh man, that's far out. Eat a gulab jam forever. It doesn't matter how much acid they will take, they will never come up to such far out statements. So yes, that is Krishna consciousness. Now Prabhupada said, if you want to understand Krishna consciousness, you say that you take this acid drops. Prabhupada was preaching to all these acid heads. And then he said, imagine a swimming pool full of acid. That's what he said. And they were like, oh man. Prabhupada used whatever he had. These people were into such things. So he said, and it's even better, but you never come down again. And I was like, because people get high and then crash. So never come down again. Stay high forever. This is Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol.